But first, the race for the White House. This evening, the head of the Iowa Democratic Party resigned following the confusion over that state's caucuses last week. Meantime, last night's New Hampshire Democratic primary results are offering some clarity to the presidential field. Senator Bernie Sanders finishing first with 25.7% of the vote. Former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg just 1.3 points behind with 24.4%. And Senator Amy Klobuchar with 19.8% of the vote. But as Amna Nawaz reports, the battle for the nomination is far from over.
Thank you, New Hampshire!
With a strong finish in Iowa and a narrow win in New Hampshire under his belt, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders says he's just getting started.
We're going to Nevada, we're going to South Carolina, we're going to win those states as well.
The New Hampshire primary also gave former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg another big night, coming in a close second.
A campaign that some said shouldn't be here at all has shown that we are here to stay.
And Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar in a surprise third.
We have beaten the odds every step of the way.
The Democratic field further winnowed, losing entrepreneur Andrew Yang and Colorado Senator Michael Bennet. And this morning, former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick announced he too would suspend his campaign, something he hinted at last night.
We needed this win to carry us forward.
But the road to the Democratic convention is long, and 8 candidates are still vying for the nomination. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, who finished 4th last night, put the early state results in perspective for her supporters.
We're 2 states in, with 55 states and territories to go.
Coming up on the primary calendar, bigger, more diverse states that could radically reshape the race in the weeks ahead. On Saturday, February 22nd, the caucuses in Nevada. On February 29th, the South Carolina primary. And on March 3rd, 14 states hit the polls on Super Tuesday, where a whopping 33% of all total delegates are up for grabs. Former Vice President Joe Biden, after weak finishes in Iowa and New Hampshire, is banking on strong support from African American voters in those upcoming states. Biden left the Granite State before polls even closed and headed to South Carolina, where he spoke to supporters on friendlier ground.
99.9%. That's the percentage of African American voters who have not yet had a chance to vote in America.
Other candidates are also hoping a more diverse electorate will offer them a boost. Billionaire Tom Steyer echoed Biden, speaking last night in Reno, Nevada.
We have a gloriously diverse country and a gloriously diverse party. And we need to make sure that every part of that country and every part of that party is part of our coalition that shows up in November.
And New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg has already poured more than $300 million of his own money into Super Tuesday and beyond, even as he faces renewed questions for his support of racially discriminatory policing tactics known as stop and frisk. Those after a years-old audio clip of him discussing the practice went viral on social media.
95% of your murderers and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. They are male, minorities, 15 to 25.
In Chattanooga, Tennessee today, Bloomberg was asked if the recording would hurt his support from African American voters.
I do not think so. I think people look at it and they say that those words don't reflect Michael Bloomberg's the way he governed in New York City, the way he runs his company, the way his philanthropy works. I think we're going to do very well in the African-American community.
The former mayor could be the newest face on the DNC stage next week when the candidates gather in Las Vegas for the 9th Democratic debate. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Amna Nawaz.